I'll do my best. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And Instagram is pretty much where I started and built my business. And so me learning from Kerri on how to like really take it on Facebook, it's super exciting. And so I'm going to dive in. My son's like going to bed, so I apologize if you hear like screams in the background. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I have a lot to cover. I speak really fast. Kerri didn't say that, but so if I go too fast, you guys have questions, just let me know. But I'm going to dive right in pretty much. So yeah, I built my business on Instagram. So I would say probably 95% of my business was on Instagram. Now maybe a little bit on Facebook, but to be honest, it's probably people that have merged from Instagram to Facebook. So really I've focused on Instagram. And that was just because that was how my mentor built her business. And so that's where I kind of learned my go-to. So I'm going to go into the basics. So I hope this might be basic for like some of you, might not be. So I'm just going to go into it. But your Instagram profile, so that's like your landing space. That's where people are going to see you and get to know who you are. If you're liking and commenting on their page, they're going to go back and check out yours. So you really want to make sure you have your Instagram profile set up. And I always say your profile picture on Facebook, Instagram should always be a headshot. Mine right now has like my son in it, but it's still a headshot, but it really should be a headshot because that's, you're creating that professionalism, right? Like it's a balance between being a pro and a business owner and a CEO versus being relatable still so people can connect with you. Be searchable. And this is one thing a lot of people don't do. And I know it's hard because some of us, not myself, because I created my Instagram when I started coaching, but some people have had an Instagram account for a long time. And so their username is not their name, which is okay as long as you put your name on your name. If that makes sense. Like you can actually set your name on your Instagram profile. So that way, if someone searches your name, they're going to find you because people are going to look for you as you start sharing on various platforms and crossing across your platforms. So make sure one or the other has your name, your bio. So this describes you. And I made the mistake when I first started of like and this is personal opinion. And I've come across so many different things too. And I don't put that I'm a Beachbody coach on my Instagram bio because I really am the brand and I want people to connect with me on a personal level, and I'll talk a bit more about that. So my bio really describes who I am. And I usually give people a tip of like 4 to 5 things that make you you, and then list that. And I'm going to show you some examples of some of the Instagram bios of my success partners so that you can see we're all very similar. Your website URL should not be, in my opinion, your Beachbody profile, because like your website, because it has Beachbody on there. And I am like super, super proud of being a Beachbody coach, but there is a lot of stigma behind like network marketing and companies and people when they get added by someone that works for a company and it says Beachbody coach or Beachbody on like the website, they'll just not follow you back. And they won't even be interested. A lot of people won't even take the time because they're worried you're going to sell to them. So that's why I lead with me first. And I share on my page about coaching. So people do know, like now that I'm a coach, if people are genuinely interested, they will realize it if you're sharing it. So I don't put that. So I would put either like your blog, your personal website. What you can do if you can use GoDaddy to create your own URL, and you can set that up and have that be like linked to your Beachbody sales page if that's all you have and you want to link to that. But also you can link to your Facebook profile page. It's an easy way for people to add you as a friend on Facebook, because Facebook, although I love Instagram, you can connect so much more with people on Facebook through Messenger. And then link to your current promo. Do you have a bootcamp coming up, a free group, a coach sneak peek? I utilize that URL most of the times now because my website's kind of like MA to promote what I'm currently what I have on offer to help people. So that's what I recommend. And your email, I forgot to include that on here, your email. So here's some of the profiles, and I wonder, can you guys see all this okay, or is it too small?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's some of the profiles, like I said, some of my success partners. And again, like it really describes who they are. Like Lauren, she's vegan, positive vibes, like she's all about balance, this girl. And for her, it's her health and happiness community. So that's like her free, it's her boot camp right now. And then same with Angie. It's literally describes, and Christina, it describes exactly who they are. So when people land on your page, they know who you are. They know if they will relate to you. And then, yeah, so branding basics. And again, this is what I was saying, you are the brand and not Beachbody. If someone wanted to go to Beachbody, they would go to beachbody.com, to be honest. They would Google Beachbody. They would find something. They're coming on social media to seek inspiration, motivation, and that's coming by you sharing your story and being relatable. So your Instagram really needs to reflect who you are as a person and not be a Beachbody billboard. And I'll be honest, if you scroll down to the beginning of my page, I think I actually deleted them all. But I used to use like Beachbody stock photos, and like when I was doing my boot camp for T25, it was like the Shanti like T25 posts. I did that all the time. My Instagram was brutal if you scroll all the way down. Like, so you're constantly working and growing. But I actually didn't delete all of it because I want people to see the growth. And I say this to my new coaches that say, should I create a new Instagram page? And I said, no, because you have a following already. Let people follow you through this transformation, through this journey, and see how you evolve as a person, because then they're going to see that I can do it too. And then share your story. It really should be a sneak peek into your life and as a Beachbody coach, because you remember, you are using this for your business, so you still have to show being a Beachbody coach and how coaching impacts your life, which I'll get into more of the sharing. But first, we're just going to go over branding some more. So style. Okay, and this is again, this all comes down to personal. There are some amazing Beachbody coaches that are like, their style is all over the place, totally different than mine, and that works for them. So you have to find what works for you, but this is what's worked for me, and what works for a lot of other professionals in big Instagram influencers is to have consistency on your page. But remember, be a pro, but be relatable. You don't want your page, like you don't want to create this image of perfection, especially if it's not real. If it's real, then great, good for you. But if it's not real, don't create that image of perfection, because people are going to look at that and they're going to want to be you. But then in the back of their mind, they're never going to think it's attainable. So you want to be a normal human being and be relatable. So the way you can have your style and be branded is having clear themes. And so mine, and by themes, I mean like things that you're going to post about. So people know what to expect when they come to your page. And so mine are very much food, because I love food. And I like to share what I mean, the good, the bad, and tips on how I can make things a little bit healthier. But I'm a huge foodie. And then quotes done from my personal development that I've done. So personal development has been a huge game changer for me in the business. It really is what helped me take my business to the next level and actually start working the business. So I love sharing motivational quotes, and I usually find something from a personal development book. So whatever book I'm reading, I literally like highlight a bazillion quotes in that book, and then I will go back and use them. I keep a notes file on my iPhone of quotes that I've come across I love, so that way when I'm in a pinch and I need a post and I'm looking for something, I just go there and I find something easy peasy. But quotes are a great way for me to share my love of personal growth. I share my mom life because I'm a mom. So I share that, and I'm then able to connect with my niche market, which are other mothers now, my family, and then my personal fitness journey. Because for me, when I started Instagram, it really was about sharing my journey and getting that accountability on Instagram. So it's important for me to share my journey, and also for my niche market to show them that they can be healthy. They can put themselves first, even though they are a mom. Now, colors and fonts. This is where I get picky because I don't want it to be like crazy. And I used to have like bazillion different colors and all this stuff. And there's a good balance. If you have a bazillion colors, that can totally work. But you want your Instagram to be appealing, right? You want it when it's going through someone's newsfeed to be eye-catching. So if it's too crazy and they can't even read what you're writing on, let's say it's a text or whatever, or if it's just too over the top, then you might not attract it. But if your style is totally bright and bazillion colors, then then you're going to attract your niche. So you have to find your balance. But I usually pick 1 to 3 colors, and this is for when I have like text and fonts and stuff like that, so that it creates a consistent theme on my page. So when someone goes on my page, they're like, oh, it's pretty looking, it's appealing, it's visually appealing. And then they're more likely, scientifically proven, more likely to actually scroll through the rest of your stuff and see the value that you're adding to your post. Filters. I went crazy on filters when I first started Instagram. And yeah, filters aren't always the best thing. If you do use a filter, I recommend sticking to one. And using a filter is a great way to bring a consistent tone, like color tone, to your Instagram. So I'll share my favorite apps that I use too. But yeah, so if you're going to use filters, I would say use one. But that way it's not like every image looks different on your page. And then patterns. Give variety in your posts. And what I mean by this is don't go post like 5 food posts in a row. I would try to break it up. So literally follow like a pattern. Food, quote, mom life, family, fitness. And that way too, it's easy for you to know what you're doing, what you're posting, and what's coming next. Okay. Sorry, Gary, I get so distracted. I'm like, what's that chat? Okay, branding, quality. So this is key, and this is where I had the biggest improvement in my social media. And it didn't just improve, like, it drastically improved the amount of interaction on my posts. So it didn't take long. It really is not that hard to improve the quality of your posts. Lighting's key, and I live in Canada, and I can tell you it is dark in the winter. So there are like no excuses for like bad lighting. There's tools that you can buy, and I know not everyone's ready to invest a lot like on this aspect of their business, but there's cheap solutions too. So like there's the Diva ring, which is awesome, which I still haven't invested in, but you can get, I have like the little Diva ring for my iPhone, and I think that's like $17, so super cheap. Or the Lumi, I had that too. So there's ways that you can play strategically with light, or just plan ahead, to be completely honest. Take more pictures during the day. When I take food pictures now, I literally take like 5 pictures, and I just change the food and angle. I put my feet in the photo. I take a photo on the table. So that way I'm creating content, and I have more photos with good quality lighting. And make sure your photos are focused. No blurry pics. And a lot of times what happens is actually the lens on people's phones, because our phones are filthy. It's gross what's on these phones, but just like clean the lens, front, back, whatever, and then that's going to help too with the focus. Clean your mirrors. Basic tip, clean your mirrors. And I'm bad for this because my mirrors get filthy really fast with Charlie, but clean them. Remember, that's that whole bit of like looking professional. This one really gets me. Underwear photos, especially in before and afters. Beachbody won't use it if you're in your underwear. So if Beachbody won't use it and you're a Beachbody ambassador, then you shouldn't really be posting your underwear. Just my 2 cents. But so I usually try to post in I'll post in a sports bra, but I don't personally post my underwear. And again, my 2 cents, trying to keep that level of professionalism up there. And clean the background. What's in your background of your images? A lot of people don't notice, or and my house is not perfectly clean, but I'll try to make sure it's clean, unless my whole point of my photo is my messy toddler explosion. So be purposeful when you're taking your photos, and know what's around you, and make sure you have that quality set up. So these are some of my favorite apps. I'm not really huge on grids, on doing grid photos. I like having just like one photo. I do side-by-side transformations for before and after, and I think that's the best. Like when there's too many photos on a transformation photo, it gets hard to see. It's really small on someone's phone, and it looks a little bit more spammy. So, and it doesn't look as professional. So I usually just do like a side-by-side. And this doesn't mean like don't have different angles of your before and after photos. Have a lot. But this now, instead of putting them all, like you have 3 different positions, instead of posting them all on one, you could create 3 actual posts with that, and be sharing a new transformation. Well, not a new transformation, but the same transformation differently every single week. So that's my tip for that. And I like to use the app layout for it because it's super basic and simple. And it's through Instagram too. For adding font, I use Fonto or Rona. They're basic, they're simple. Rona I mostly use for my quotes, and adding font to my call to action posts. But I don't put a lot of text on my actual post. That's my style. But like I said, there's some and I used to think that don't put text on your photos, it'll look spammy. But There's some top coaches with lots of text on their photos, and they are killing it. So it really does come down to you. Whatever you're going to pick, be consistent is the best advice that I can give you. Afterlight is a great app that I like for editing, for increasing things like the brightness, the contrast, the saturation. So if you're in a dark environment, you can actually edit your photos to make them seem a lot lighter. And for that, I usually use Afterlight. I increase the brightness a lot. And then I'll use the app Facetune to actually increase the whiteness of the photo. And then that way it removes some of that yellow hue that happens when you're using artificial light. And try to position yourself against like a white background if you're dealing with light issues, because in that way you can really edit it. So those are my favorite apps. Okay, so now in terms of what you're sharing on social media, and this is where it's huge. You really want to share your real story. And I feel like a lot of coaches, we start and we don't know what to share. We're scared to share. And we then put on like this fake image of what we think people want to see or what we think a coach should be. And really there's no definition of what a coach should be. You, like I said, you are the brand, and you have to share your real story. And I love this quote by Darren Hardy: don't fake it till you make it. Be real, be transparent, be authentic, and be yourself. And really that's the key to success, because I started the business with like a fake kind of like what I thought people wanted. And sure, I had people sign up, but are they still around? No, those people are gone, long gone. The people that are on my team now are people that joined my team since I started sharing my real story. And some of them are working the business, some of them aren't, but they're still there and they've connected with me and they feel that connection to me. So be real and be yourself. And I say to share your story 3 to 5 times a day on social media. And so on Instagram, Facebook, it's so easy for you to share the same post on both platforms, and don't be afraid of annoying people. Chances are they won't see it on either because the algorithms are so specific. So share away, and don't worry about annoying people. If you annoy them, let them unfollow you. They weren't going to join your tribe anyway. Genuinely share how Beachbody has changed your life. And this is where every day can be a sneak peek into coaching, a sneak peek into the challenge group. If you're sharing tidbits about your life and how Beachbody's helped you accomplish a goal or overcome something, that's what people need to hear. They don't need to hear that a program is on sale. They need to hear about what that program did for you. So think about what your biggest challenges and excuses were before you got started, because a lot of the people that are following you have those same ones. It's the excuse, like the list of excuses is pretty basic, and I have it on the next slide. And so share these in your posts on Instagram. And so literally every post before I post it, I say, is there value in this post? Is it informing, inspiring, educating, motivating someone? If it's not, then is it really worth posting it for the sake of posting it? And I say no. Another thing you can do, and I love this, is overcoming objections publicly on your social media. And so this is all applicable to Facebook and Instagram, guys. So, but by putting the objections out there, we all know people have them because we get them from people one-on-one. By putting them out there, you're saying to people, like, I'm not afraid to publicly say that this is an objection, and show how they overcome it. They know it's an objection. They absolutely do. Share your wins, big and small. So you be proud. Even if it's something small, that small milestone, which you might consider small, could be huge for someone else. You need to share that. So here, I won't go into detail about this. You guys can like take a screenshot or whatnot, but here are some common challenges and excuses and solutions that we have available to us as Beachbody coaches. So these are some of the things that you can talk about on your posts when you're doing your posts on Instagram. And people love this kind of stuff. So remember, when you're sharing, you want to get that engagement and interaction so you can then engage with people more. So one thing that helps, especially with Instagram and having that consistency, is having a plan, making sure you know what you're going to be posting about that month, that week, that day. So it takes a little bit of prep work, but honestly, if you put the time in, you're going to save yourself. I think they say, like, if you spend like 2 hours preparing your month, it's going to save like 20% of your time for the entire month. So totally worth it. So know what your plan is for the month, make a goal and stick to it. And then build up like your invites to your sneak peeks or your boot camps by providing that value all month long. So I don't know if you've read the book by Gary Vaynerchuk, Jab, Jab, Right Hook, but that's all about building value all the time, and then finally like those little jabs, and then coming around with the right hook with your offer. And then that way you're not salesy and cheesy when you're asking people for something in return after giving them stuff all week long. So I like to create a monthly calendar of events, and I share that with my team, and then also social media calendar. Now, I don't do a social media calendar every single month, and I want to get back into that, but I haven't been. But I have old ones that I can easily follow. So if you just create one, you can use the same template over and over again. So here's like the calendar for my team. And so if we have a free event, and this was shared by Melanie Mitro, so it looks super common to you probably, Kerri. But so she did these jabs. And I thought this was awesome. Like the whole week before any event, she's doing jabs that whole week before. And then that way, when she does a call to action for her boot camp, her free group, her coach sneak peek, people have been seeing stuff all week long and are like, oh, that's what you're talking about. I'm totally in. So you're getting their buy-in before you're ever even asking them for it. And then here's a social media calendar, which you guys can screenshot and see. And the great thing about creating a social media calendar is then you're not scrambling with what to post. It's super simple. You can plan your post ahead of time. And guys, remember when you're posting on Instagram and Facebook, is people don't look, I think they say past 9 lines on your Instagram. So any post that you did before that, if it was a good post, repost it. You don't even have to delete it from the old one. People aren't going to see it. If you want to delete it, just be safe, go for it. But you can totally do that and just repost it because it was a great post, and see how it does the next time around. So know that when you're creating a whole bunch of content, you can reuse content, repurpose content on your different platforms and on the same platform. Okay, so growing your following. So social media is amazing because we can grow and expand our network so much faster than we can in person, especially for when we work in home businesses. We kind of like get trapped in this like where we're at home all the time and we're not really doing things anymore. So one, we still need to get out and socialize and build outside of the network, but social media allows us to build so much faster. And so to really be attracting your niche, you want to attract people with common interests. So those are the people you need to go find. So search hashtags. And I try to avoid a lot of fitness stuff because I find that fitness people are so oversaturated. They're being followed by every other fitness person that wants like their money or whatever. So I try to search things that interest me, those 5 things that are in my bio that interest me that are not fitness related. So that way I can connect with people on a personal level first, and then we can talk fitness. So search those kind of hashtags. A simple way, and this is what I do, is I find a big page. So my favorite cooks, my favorite chefs, I will go on their pages and I will follow all their followers so that those people follow me back. And I always tell people, like, follow 100 people a day. It's super easy on Instagram. You can just go on, and this is how I built my following so fast at the beginning. I would literally get on my phone and I would follow like 300 people in a day. I'd find a big page and go follow all their followers. And then I would unfollow people on weekends. And this is what my upline told me to do. And I know it, at first I was like, well, it seems kind of weird and cheesy, that whole follow and follow thing. And I was so new to Instagram. But if people unfollow you, they were only following you because you were following them. So don't be afraid if they unfollow you. If they're interested in what you have to share, if they feel you're providing value, they will keep following you. And most people are not using apps to show who's following and unfollowing them. Those are just people that are using Instagram for business, really. So don't fret on any of that, but go follow people with similar interests and then connect with them. And this starts, like, as I said, with sharing value in each and every single post. And then whenever you have, now there's an awesome feature on Instagram that you can like people's comments. So make sure you're liking every single comment on your post, unless it's a bad one, you can delete it. But like and reply to every single comment. That's one, going to be a way for you to engage and interact with people, but also it's going to help boost the popularity of your posts and send it to more people's news feeds. Like I said, those Instagram algorithms got like super weird and hard. So you really need to be active on your page and active on other people's pages. So I aim to connect with 5 people a day. And I always start with my best followers. So the people that are liking and commenting on my posts. So literally just go to your last Instagram post, see who commented on it, and then go connect with those people. And what I'll do is I'll go and I'll like a bunch of their posts, and I'll find a recent post that they did that I can connect with them on. Something that we have a common interest. So not just like a random post. I want it to be meaningful. So I want to find something that I can ask them a question about, so then we can engage in a conversation. You really want to be you have to be interested in people. Like, you really, this is a relationship business, and you have to want to get to know people and be interested in building that relationship with them to build that trust and connection before you ever think about inviting them. And then like I said, I like to move conversations over to Facebook. And usually how I do that is the offerings for my groups. I build relationships with people so well on my Instagram that when they see I'm doing a free group, they'll join the group. They'll click the link, they join the group, I add them as a friend. Same thing with my coach sneak peek and my boot camps. That's how I usually transition people over. But don't be afraid to just say to someone like, hey girl, are you on Facebook? It'd be so much easier to chat with you there. Be totally normal and be real. Now, the last thing that I have in terms of connecting with people is those call to actions. And this is how I built my business, is posting regular call to actions. So every week I would post something, whether it's for a coach sneak peek that I'm doing, like a help wanted, coaches wanted post. I still have some up on my page so you guys can go see what I mean by those. It's how I recruit my coaches. And I have built my business by like 90% coaches, 10% customers, kind of backwards, but that's how I got started in the business, was as a coach first. But like I said, I didn't do anything with it, but I still started as a coach first. So I recommend, posting these call to actions, and then post about it several times, like all those little jabs throughout the week to really build it up. And what this also does is shows you're open for business and that you have a service to offer. It's all great sharing your story, sharing who you are, but if you're not showing that you have a solution, a business opportunity, or a product for people, then it's never going to make that connection, right? And like, connect with everyone that likes and comments on that post. Reach out to them, see if they're interested. And you can, I recommend deleting old call to action so it doesn't look spammy on your page. So before you go posting the next one. So those are my tips. And that's my last slide. I should have done like a proper closing slide, but I hope that was like helpful.
So helpful.
Okay, good.
So ready.
Unbelievably helpful.
I'm sorry. It's like I went all the way to the very end. If there's questions or what. My color-coded calendars. So for my calendars, I just use PicMonkey. Whenever I create like calendars or something, I use PicMonkey. I just go Google.
Okay.
Yeah. Pinterest has lots of like cool calendars and stuff.
So good. And I have no idea. I don't know where the timer is thing that's going to kick us off soon. So if we get kicked off, that was amazing. Can we get that slide from you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Amazing.
I can send that to you. And then, if you guys have questions, just send them my way, and then I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much. I feel like I have a lot of work to do.
Dude,
always.
Your page was great, and always improve, right? But remember, be you, be real. Like, that's what I loved about your page is like, it's you. Like, it's so you. Like, you really can tell who you